glass cucumber, and silver and the snake. But the faces aren't right in this coloring book. Next we have how loving water became corrupt ears. What? Why loving water can corrupt ears? Huh. Very, very weird. And I forgot, I already read the story, Linda's Finger, last night, and Confess Your Wrongs. But I haven't colored it. Now let's go to Children and the World for Coloration. Various authors were chosen by Rick Baldes. Here is the map. Here's the map of which country have the pages started. Like, I will find pages here. Like page 1, it begins in Russia. No, not Russia, Japan. Page 2, I don't know, man, it's so small to read. Yeah, it keeps on going until page 32. Okay. Let's read the story why TADO obeyed. TADO was a little Japanese boy. He lived with his grandfather high up on the side of a mountain in Japan. All around TADO's house were the rice fields. The people of the village came every day to work in the rice fields, and TADO and his grandfather helped them. Even though TADO was only 5 years old, he knew that rice fields were very important to them. We would be all hungry if the rice fields will do something, or maybe it will die, or a big storm came up, or like a tornado, like something like that. TADO didn't want to be hungry, so he was glad. He was so glad when the rice began to ripen and harvest time drew near. Then one day something happened that frightened TADO. He and grandfather were all alone in the rice fields when grandfather straightened up to rest. He looked out at the rolling sea. For a moment, he cried sharply to TADO, "Run quickly and bring me a burning stick from the fire." TADO ran as fast as he could to smoldering fire. He seized a stick and hurried to grandfather. Grandfather took the stick and thrust it into the dry rice plants. "Bring me another one," he ordered. "Quick!" TADO was so surprised that for a moment he couldn't move. Then he began to cry. "Grandfather," he sobbed, "you are burning the rice." Grandfather nodded without looking at TADO. "Bring me another burning stick, quickly," he said. TADO hesitated. Then he thought of Jesus. TADO knew that Jesus would want him to obey grandfather. "Yes, grandfather," TADO answered swiftly. He hurried to bring another burning stick from the fire. Then another, and still another. Soon the whole field was ablaze, and thick black smoke rose up from the mountainside. A few minutes TADO saw the people running from the village below. All the men and women, and even the children, were climbing the mountain trail. They were all coming to try to put out the fire in the precious rice fields. As they came close, one man shouted angrily to grandfather, "How did this thing happen? Who set this terrible fire?" "I did," answered grandfather slowly. "Why? Why?" screamed the man. Grandfather turned and pointed up to the sea. All the people turned to look at the direction he was pointing, terrible that no one moved or said anything. The water rolled over the land where the village was and broke with a loud roar against the side of the mountain. The people hid their faces from the sight. Their whole village was underwater. Then the people began to smile. They looked at each other. They knew now why he had to set a fire to the rice. He had wanted them to come up to the mountain where they would be safe. The people all crowded around grandfather and began to thank him for saving their lives. They were not angry now. Grandfather smiled at the people. Then he put out his hand to TADO's shoulder. I could never have set the fire to the rice fields in time if I hadn't been for TADO, he said. He brought me the burning sticks even though I had no time to explain why I wanted him. TADO was so happy that he had obeyed Grandfather. He knew that from now on he would be always obey because Jesus wanted him to do. Number 1. Where did the story happen? It happened at the side of the mountain.
No, look at the map.
It happened in Japan.
The story happened
In
in
Japan. What time of the year?
what I told you or teach you in answering a question, you have to complete the sentence and not only the.
Where did the story happen? The story happened in Japan. What year? What time of year is it?
Careful of the pages.
I don't know what year it happened.
So you have to read it again.
There's no years in here.
Come on. You read it again. In the story.
TADO was a little Japanese boy. He lived with his grandfather high up on the side of a mountain in Japan. All around TADO's house were the rice fields. The people in the village came every day to work in the rice fields, and TADO and his grandfather helped them. Even though TADO was 5 years old, he knew the rice fields were very important to the Japanese people. Many times, Grandfather had told them, "The rice fields are our food. If anything should happen to them, we would be all hungry." TADO didn't want to be hungry, so he was glad when the rice began to ripen. Harvest time drew near. Then one day something happened that frightened TADO. He and Grandmother were all alone in the rice fields. When Grandfather straightened up to rest, he looked at the rolling sea for a moment. He turned pale and did not speak. Then he cried sharply to TADO, "Run quickly and bring me a burning stick from the fire." TADO ran as fast as he could to the smoldering fire. He seized a stick and hurried to Grandfather. Grandfather took the stick and thrust it into the dry
What was
rice
the
pan.
question?
It says, what time of the year was it?
It is harvest time.
It says here.
Magigisi.
Yes, harvest time.
It's harvest time of the year.
Oh.
It's not about 2023. So you have to be very observant, or yes, you have to take note all the details, most especially the times when it happens, and where it happens, and what happened, and who are the characters of the story.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, next.
Okay, number 2. Why did not Grandfather simply send TADO to tell the village people to come up on the mountain? So that's why Grandfather didn't tell TADO to tell the village that
The village people.
that the ocean will come near their village and then wipe out all their houses, because there was no time, and if TADO came there, he couldn't swim because he's only 5 years old, and then he will drown.
He will be drawn.
Yes, so that's why Grandfather only told TADO to get a burning stick and throw it to the rice field. So
Why burning stick?
because that's the story said. So
What's the purpose?
So he lived with his grandfather. His grandfather's house
Kaya mo naman pala
all
eh.
around it was a rice field. The village people go every day to the rice fields, and they harvest the plants in harvest year or harvest time. And also, even though TADO was a 5-year-old boy, he knew that the rice field is very important to them. Like Grandfather always says to TADO every time that he has to take care of the rice fields or even do something to prevent it from something that will harm it. Because if there's no rice fields, they would be all starving and hungry. But one day, something bad happened. Grandfather and TADO, as always, goes to the rice field every day. Then grandfather only looked at the ocean or the sea for a few minutes, and then he said, "TADO, get the burning stick from that fire." Said.
That was because his lolo or grandfather has observed that there will be coming tsunami. Okay.
And then, as grandfather said, TADO obeyed and get the burning stick and gave it to grandfather. Grandfather throwed it to the rice fields, and then grandfather said, "Give me another one." Then TADO said, "Grandfather, you are burning the rice field. You have to stop." But then TADO remembered about Jesus, and then when he remembered about Jesus, he said that he needs to obey to grandfather because that's what Jesus wants him to do. Well, TADO obeyed and then gets another burning stick and another, and then until all the village people came out to the side of the mountain and then looked at the rice fields, and one man looked at grandfather and said, "What are you doing? Who did this?" And then grandfather said, "It was me," slowly. And then the man said, "Why? Why?" Grandfather said that, "Look at the ocean, look at the sea, all of you." And then all of them looked at the ocean. They saw that all their houses, trees, and even some of the rice has been drowned off by the tsunami. Now all the village people was happy and smiled to grandfather. And TADO said to his mind that if I didn't obey to grandfather,
they can save the people.
Yes.
In the village. So no matter how important, how did they take care the rice, the planted rice, it's still important. Lives of the people are still important than what they are going to harvest. So life first before anything else. Okay. That's good.
Bye, everyone.
Congratulations, Anna.